Hello there, Chris Benson's here. Welcome to the Britbox Diaries. We've got a couple of archive reviews coming up in a moment that I filmed a while ago and then never got around to uploading to YouTube. So I've included these in this episode just to get them off my hard drive, really. But Ever Decreasing Circles and Just Good Friends get a mention in a moment. But first, did you know that 8 Days a Week is on Britbox? Now, I'd never seen this film. It's a 2016 film directed by Ron Howard. And it's certainly worth a watch. It follows the Beatles during their touring years, so kind of up to 1966. But it's a really well-made film. You've got some great interviews in there as well. Sigourney Weaver's interviewed, Whoopi Goldberg's interviewed. My only annoyance is probably the right word. Some of the footage has been obviously colourised. Now, I can see why. It's probably to make it attractive to the 2016 viewer. But there's some bits where it just looks a bit artificial for me, and I would have left it in black and white. You have to tell me what you think of that. But there's some bits that just look a bit cartoonised because they've not quite been colourised right. But again, it's a brilliant documentary. Of course, it's got interviews with Paul McCartney and Ringo Starr, archive interviews with George Harrison, John Lennon also feature. And off the back of it, I did go on eBay and buy the soundtrack. Live at the Hollywood Bowl, which was released at the time of the film. So it's got the original Live at the Hollywood Bowl album and then some bonus tracks, which were on this 2016 release. You Can't Do That from 1964. I Want to Hold Your Hand, Everybody's Trying to Be My Baby, Babies in Black. And it's a 2016 remix from the original multi-track tapes produced by Giles Martin as well. So I've got to give that a listen. I haven't listened to it yet, but really impressed with 8 Days a Week. And I know it's been on the Channel 4 channels quite a bit, on More 4 I've seen in the listings before now, just never watched it. But in BritBox, the picture-wise, it looked great. At the moment, it looks like the expiry date for the Beatles 8 Days a Week is the 25th of August 2022, so plenty of time to catch up with it. But even my wife, who would admit herself that she's not really a Beatles fan, I think got something out of the documentary. You don't realise and appreciate what the schedule was like until you watch that documentary, and you can see why they went to the kind of the studio albums like they did, the White Album and Let It Be, etc., and just to move away from the touring, because it must have just been so intense. But really well made documentary, absolutely. I'm looking forward to I can mention another streaming provider. I'm looking forward to the Disney series, of course, which follows them on the last album, which is coming out later in the year as well. That will be really interesting. I believe Peter Jackson's been involved with that one, and there's 6 hours of footage that we're going to see as well. Chris Benson here. Welcome to a special Britbox Diaries all about Ever Decreasing Circles. It's a fantastic sitcom. If you haven't seen it, then you really are missing out. It stars Richard Bryars, Penelope Wilton, Peter Egan. 27 episodes were made between 1984 and 1989. Britbox UK at the minute only has the last ever episode, which was transmitted on Christmas Eve 1989. More on that in a minute though, but I think it's interesting. It's not really been repeated that much over the years. I was just looking before doing this video. BBC 4 repeated series 1 and 2 back in 2014, so surely it's due a repeat after Yes Minister and Fall and Rise of Reginald Perrin perhaps on Tuesday nights. BBC 1 got as far as series 4, but then decided to miss the final episode of series 4 out and the Christmas special, and that was in 2000. So they got quite a way through and then missed the last 2 episodes out. But that was 21 years ago. And I remember that channels, the UK TV channels such as Gold, they used to repeat Ever Decreasing Circles, but again, they didn't repeat the episode that's on BritBox UK right now, the concluding feature-length episode. No idea why, but they never did show it. So it's here on BritBox to enjoy. It perhaps looks more dated than some of the other sitcoms, and here's my reason why. Because I always think that in the late 80s, when they were using videotape for kind of location scenes, I think it looks more dated than when they were shooting on film. Discourse, you might disagree with that, but that's just my opinion. But it's a brilliant ending, and I've never seen the final episode before until this month. I'd watched most of the other episodes, but I never watched the final one, so I finally got round to watching it. But Richard Briers apparently said that it was his favourite sitcom role, and if you've seen The Good Life, obviously where he plays Tom Good in that, is the total opposite. It's a character that you probably really don't like very much, Martin Bryce, but it's a brilliant ensemble. It really is, and it's well worth checking out. As I say, this 80-minute episode that's on BritBox UK right now. In terms of the schedule, though, what was on Christmas Eve 1989? It was a great schedule anyway that Ever Decreasing Circles was part of. For example, Labyrinth was on Christmas Eve 1989 with David Bowie, the first showing on British television. Then later on there was The Chronicles of Narnia, The Voyage of the Dawn Treader. I remember that as a kid. Then Telly Addicts with Noel Edmonds, and there was guests including Barbara Windsor, Barry Cryer, George Layton, Chris Tarrant, Lisa Goddard, Graham Garden, and then into Ever Decreasing Circles at 7:45. And then after the news, there was, if you're interested, there was a premiere of a Robert Redford film and Deborah Winger starring as well. It was Legal Eagles. So that was quite a strong Christmas Eve 1989 lineup that Ever Decreasing Circles had its last episode shown on. It first aired back on the 29th of January 1984. Over 4 series the series developed. As I say, I would love BritBox UK to add more episodes. I really, really would. So, as there's no channel showing Ever Decreasing Circles at the minute, and it's not on BritBox, good job I found this upstairs, which I'll admit I've not really played the DVD, so maybe I need to put it on. But this is the way that you can watch all the series at the minute as things stand, and it does have some great special features. For example, audio commentaries on selected episodes featuring Richard Briers, Peter Egan, Penelope Wilton, with comedy historian Robert Ross. So I have to have a listen to those. There's 2 Wogan interviews, one with Peter Egan from January 1989, and then one with the cast from the 20th of December 1989, just before the Christmas special went out. There's also a feature on the programme called Did You See? A discussion about sitcoms, which also includes Richard Briers. So there you go. If worst case, it might be worth going having a look for that and giving that a go. But it's 6 discs in total and was released, crikey, 14 years ago. Whilst I've got a little bit of time, I should mention another sitcom Christmas special that I've watched on BritBox, but it's no longer available at the time of recording this. It's the Just Good Friends Christmas Special 1986, the final episode, starring Paul Nicholas and Jan Francis. But it was removed on the 19th of March 2020. It was only on BritBox for about 3 months. Come on, we need it back on BritBox, we really do. It's a fantastic sitcom, but only the last episode was put on temporarily. 22 episodes of Just Good Friends were made, and I can tell you at the moment the DVD release from Eureka is still available. Just looked, it's on Amazon. Interestingly, with the feature length Christmas special that they had to do, I think there was a feature length Christmas special which went back to before Penny and Vince met to kind of show the backstory. They had to mute some of the soundtrack because they couldn't get clearance for it, but it was the only way that the DVD could happen, and I haven't seen it. You have to report back if you've got it to let me know if it's any good. I believe there's subtitles on the bottom of the bits that they had to mute, but I'm still optimistic that we'll see it one day on BritBox, but as things stand here in September 2021, we're still waiting the arrival again of Vince and Penny. Hopefully it will be soon. That's it for this edition of the Britbox Diaries. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and more reviews coming up soon. Bye for now.